Hey, everybody. Michelle is here. Look, what's the date around here? I think it's Thursday. Let's see. Thursday. Oh, yeah. November the 30th, 2023. And the place to be, baby. So, hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificently, and marvelous because I am. So, I just want to go ahead and put something out with all these videos I got. I think it's kind of funny. The things that I'm doing, and at the same time, not knowing what I'm doing. How about that? So that's where I am in this process. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something, and that's more important. In most cases, than anything, just do it, get it done, put it out there. And so that's what I do, and that's what I've been doing. I have not. I mean, I'm not looking for followers per se. I'm not looking for likes. And like I said, for your protection and your privacy, I suggest you do not comment on my videos. But you make that's your choice. Because I know that the material that I'm talking about is going to reach only a certain caliber of people. And what do I mean? Like, I've said this so many times. You're going to pick up the sounds and tones that resonate with you, that captures your attention. And that's how it's worked for me. I do a lot of research, which I love. I use primarily the internet, but that requires a lot more discerning and a lot more, well, maybe not. Because my point is, you just never know whether something is true or not, accurate or not, scientific or not. You just don't know. So all you can do is go on what you understand, and that's the most important thing is do everything in your power to understand what's going on. So I'm terribly interested in that. What is going on? And then when you find out that there are things going on behind the scenes that nobody's sharing with you, and they are intentionally lying to you, man, that's the part that I have. It's so troubling to me and so concerning. And I know why. I know why we're being lied to. But at the same time, we're all in this together. We're all on one planet. And I know there are certain powers that be, and I call them in the pyramid, that are under the illusion that if they go to Mars or if they go to the moon, they will not have to deal with factors that is consistent in our soul system. This is a soul system situation, SOL, okay, our soul system. So it doesn't matter if you go to the moon, Mars, wherever. The factors that we are faced with and that we will be faced with concerns all of that, okay? So today I was working and had a meeting about, again, the nonprofit and how that's going to be moving forward. So, I mean, that's a lot of details. Let me just be honest with you. Dealing with the nonprofit, profit or business or whatever it is, there's a lot of details involved with that. So I understand why a lot of people like to do things. I know a lot of people call it under the table, so to speak. In other words, they do it without having lawyers around, advisors around, consultants, and blah. Because it is a financial thing. Always at the bottom line, it's always about finance. Always, because everybody wants to be paid. All right, so do you blame them? No, I don't. So at the same time, the urgency of what I want to talk about is I have to let that outweigh everything else, and so I have to just be creative, and understand how I can make the impact that I'm attempting to do. And it's about the evolution of the consciousness. That's what it's about for me. Now, I know, and as I'm looking around, paying attention to what's on the social media platform, what's on what's on the internet per se, what's on these some of these sites. A lot of people have their stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff out there, and and to be able to navigate through there, it takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a lot of perseverance and resilience, patience, and being kind and gentle with yourself. Not to mention taking things off the personal. Don't make it all personal, because and I like to get information from people. I prefer someone that's walking the talk, that's actually walking the talk, have the results, blah blah blah. They can present results, present a culmination of what they've done to get to where they are. So many people are not doing that. A lot of people are just like jumping on bandwagons, and riding coattails. And I know a lot of people stay with formulas that they say work. Okay, hey, and like I said, nobody likes to reinvent the wheel if not necessary. Okay, well, it's been necessary actually to reinvent the wheel. It's been necessary for a lot longer than we think. So a lot of us have gotten really comfortable with, not rocking the boat, so to speak. Because for them, it's about, hey, it's about, for them, they assume that's success. And so that's how the pyramid has been able to develop as it is and be fortified to where, some people are there and they believe that they are doing the right things. But then some people are there because they know that they're working fraudulently, like pyramid schemes. But these pyramid schemes work. Okay? It's so easy for people to make those pyramid schemes work. So the same thing with scamming, because like I said, if it benefits someone, right, like I said, I've said this before, but again, I'm just putting it out there for whoever wants to hear this. I know I'm talking to the future, young people, or, but I'm going to do it nonetheless, because I know that I'm making an impact somewhere, and I need to make sure I persevere, move forward, regardless of whether somebody's listening to me or whether somebody agrees with me or whether somebody supports me or not. I know people do. So that is what gives me the enthusiasm and the joy, because I know people are following me per se, secretly, not secretly. No. I don't need no one doing anything secretly, but they're doing it silently. Like I said, a silent revolution, somewhat, or if that's the term, and that's more relevant. That's my point. So, again, I know a lot of people like to just like stay with the, like I said, do not want to reinvent the wheel. They, and because, for the people in the pyramids that have a lot of millions and millions of people following you, you're going to get the results. It's a numbers game, okay? It's a numbers game. So to have that delusion that you are successful, that's all that is. It's a delusion. It's just a money numbers game. And that's how it's always been. And I remember when I was getting into these kind of things over 20, 30 years, I'm 58, maybe 20, 25 years ago. That is what I always picked up from all of this. It's a numbers game, whether the product is quality or not. Okay? Whether the product is quality or not, it's still a numbers game. Okay? So, for me, again, it's not about being a billionaire. It's not about being a billionaire. Okay, because like I said, I will give most of it away. It's not necessarily about being a millionaire either. What I would do is kind of scale it down to where it's more, where, as long as my needs are met, okay, I can live a very comfortable lifestyle without all the materialism. I really can. And so it's about scaling things down to be reasonable, rational about it. and not always looking for, the income side of it. What impact am I going to be making? Because like I said, I listen to, because I'm glad and thankful for, in a way, that people are really, really talking on these podcasts, sharing. I think it's all valuable, okay, because of what we are faced with, okay, and some of the culminations of things that a lot of people are just aloof about, and they have no clue about what all that means. Like me, I call myself a storyteller, and I talk about the dawning of the age of Aquarius. A lot of people are probably like glass-eyed and like, okay, what the hell does that mean? And so there's a lot of things that the meaning is can be confusing, yes, because everybody has their own definition of things. So my purpose is to do it in a visual fashion as best I can, and also consider the other modalities as well in my voice. Because like I said, think about how I came upon certain things, and it was through perseverance. It was through researching. I've been going to the library since I was a young girl, and then and reading a lot of books, and just coming away with a lot of these books. They were like a circular in meaning. They really didn't have a solution or a resolution to anything. There was a lot of like cut and pasting, in my opinion, with a lot of books. But that are coming out recently. I remember I read a book that came out by someone that it's a celebrity, and they put a book out, and I ordered it, of course. And when I started reading it, I'm like, okay. And this book was on the #1 bestsellers list. Come on. I was kind of disappointed with that, because I knew what that was. That is what was happening too back in the day, where somehow people just ended up on the New York sellers best list, and it's like, well, and it's like, who's reading these books? Who's reading them? And I know a lot of books decorate. I know a lot of people use books for decorations. I just know that. All right. So there's just a lot going on. Again, a lot of people on their podcast are sharing. And so for me, that works better for me, because I mean, even though I love reading books, I don't really like to read a lot about someone's memoirs. I really don't. I'm not into that. Not that I'm just not into it. I'll read some, people that I'm interested in, but, I'm not really interested in that. I'm more interested in, the cultivation of thoughts and spirituality, consciousness, accountability, responsibility, because we've all gone through something. We've all gone through something. And I know, and I sense, and I'm going to be real strong about this, there's a lot of people lying, though, as well, and making up stuff about what happened to them in their childhood, and they will not have the courage to come through. In my opinion, it will be something to see if it happens in the next year or 2 or 3. A lot of people are lying about this so-called abuse they experienced as young children, and they've benefited, and to where they've built multi-million-dollar, multi-billion-dollar empires. Now, the question is, if they're making a positive impact to society, are they obligated to come forward and tell the truth? That's something to really answer and contemplate, and say, well, I've made this contribution, I've given back. So do I need to come forward and say this was all I lied about stuff? Those are moral questions to answer, because at the end of the day, you cannot fool your consciousness. You cannot fool your subconsciousness. So what it will do is brew up a lot of battles inside of you, to where you're going to have to resolve things. So in other words, if you say that you were abused in your childhood and you wasn't, chances are you're going to always be met with abuse, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. You'll be met with those type of forces of energy. Okay, and if you had actually gone through it, you would know how to get out of it. That's my point. Or you know how to resolve it, or keep yourself from being in that type of situation. You understand what I mean? So there's a cause and effect. There's no such thing as coincidences. There's no such thing as something happening by chance. Everything is logical. It's a rational and it's a reasonable process to evolving your consciousness. So you can't play games, is my point. That's where it becomes really dangerous for you. When you're playing games with your thoughts and your mind and your behavior, you're just playing games, and you think that the games and the results, and it's always materialistically. Okay, a lot of people weigh a lot of attention. What's the word? A lot of people relay a lot of let me see if we find a word that answers that. Let's say a lot of people put a lot of power, okay, on materialism, and attempt to justify that. Well, I got all these houses, I can have all these cars. I mean, I'm doing the right thing, and they're looking at everything in the material fashion, though. We're not just material human beings. Okay, we have a part piece of creational energy inside of us. It's all energy. Okay, so materialism is energy. Okay, and so it doesn't matter how you cultivate it and contemplate it. So does the end justify the means? That's something you're gonna have to answer. Each individual person. Does that mean that, well, I can lie and that it's not going to come back and haunt me? That's my point. Let's see here. So, it's about the ethical and the moral and the rightness of it. The consequences. Maybe you say, well, the consequences is irrelevant, possibly. Again, I got 10 houses, I got 10 cars, I got billions of dollars in the bank or millions of dollars in the bank. I mean, it's still a consequence, though, for that. There's always consequences. So that's why I mean you don't want to focus on the fact that you have all this materialism as your guide to justify that you lied about stuff or you're lying about stuff. Okay? So many people are doing that, or have done that. So there are chain of events that you will have to answer to. Okay, and let's see here. Let's read this one: law of unintended consequences. Every act, it says that every act has an unintended consequences. So, but I think if you know for a fact that you're lying, again, you can't fool your consciousness, and so that's going to cause a lot of damage to your consciousness if you don't resolve that and make that right. So, again, there's a lot of people talking. There's a lot of podcasts out there. A lot of information out there, a lot of content, and a lot of us are going to have time to delve into that because of the consequences of the climate. There are some people who are just going to be stuck in their house and they're not going to be able to leave, okay, because of the weather-related events. And so you're going to have time to actually sit there and be with you, and see how you can make things right and resolve and resolve your contradictions and resolve your behaviors and actions and take responsibility and be held accountable. Now, I'm glad that, like I said, if I had $1 billion, I would give it all away, $1 million as well. I'll make sure that I'm being well taken care of, that my needs are met, and then I can easily spread that to others, because like I said, I put a post out We're spending $50 billion on that war. What war? Well, you figure that out. $50 billion. Do you know what we can do with $50 billion? Okay, so there are causes and effects. A cause and effects. We're living in the effects. We're living in the consequences right now because we're at a culmination. Okay, it's the damage has been done, and my quest, my intention, my purpose is to help individuals that are willing to listen if they choose to. It's a free will to understand how we have gotten ourselves into this vortex, and then how important it is to get out of it. And it involves the thoughts. It involves the consciousness, because a lot of us are going to be witnessing devastation. Okay, we're going to be witnessing that. Okay, you've been warned on several, on the East Coast, on the West Coast, on the North, on the South. We've been told about the climate, but everyone's thinking that, okay, it's not going to affect me. We're all going to be affected. Okay, and then this interest about UFOs or unidentified, there's a culmination with that as well. Okay, there's a culmination with that, and right now it doesn't look good. How about that? Okay, so I'm hoping to make the best impact I can. I know I'm going to be I know people are going to say, okay, that bitch crazy. But thankfully, I've taken my ego out of all of this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be, if my ego was still, leading the way, which is a part of your personality, there's no way I would be doing this. But I know that there's a bigger picture. So I knew how to suspend my ego over a year ago. Okay, I understand how to bounce. I understand my feelings and emotions, and so I don't take things personal. Okay, only time I take something personal if I feel physically threatened. Other than that, or somebody I love, or something like that. Okay, so I'm on my way. I'm doing my thing. I feel good, like I know I should. At times, this is going to be a crazy process. What I'm doing, because it's going to be met with a lot of pushback. I know that because it involves religion or lack thereof, or and a lot of people get really uncomfortable when you start talking about religion. They really do, and they start getting defensive. And some of them will kill over their religion. They will kill you, kill others, kill themselves over religion, believe it or not. So I just want to go ahead and share that today, that I'm gonna I'm moving forward, persevering on this Thursday, November the 30th, 2023, in the place to be, baby. I know this is going to be possibly a consciousness challenge, again, because I'm going to be met with people who are just not going to hear it. They don't want to hear you explaining to them, the essence and the origin of our existence. A lot of people don't want to hear that. They think it's a lot of, but the results are going to speak for themselves. And I'm just being really honest. A lot of people are not going to be happy. A lot of people. But you can, but if you can choose to, accept it in the most natural way. It's not indoctrination. Okay, it's not manipulation. It's not deception. This is truth here, and there's proof. Okay, of that this is the truth, and the predictions. And I'm not going to talk about predictions. So if someone were to ask me something directly about particular events, I'm going to help you to connect the dots on your own and fill in the missing pieces, and you decide what may happen or not based on logic, rational, reasonable thinking. Okay, so it's gonna mean that you're gonna have to come out of your beliefs for a while, just suspend them. Come out of your ego, suspend it. Come out of and be open and willing to be open about the possibilities. Okay? So I'm going to start right now. I'm going to go ahead and send peace and love all over the stars and moon and mountains. And trust me, I'll be back.